Okay, so tonight you guys just need the strap, and then that's pretty much it. Unless you would like a chair for some of the practices, that would be fine as well. We're gonna be working on more of like the stretching, mobility part of this yoga therapy. And to start, I said we're gonna do some of the tapping. And so tapping is literally just tapping parts of your body, and it's gonna bring more awareness inward. So like oftentimes our senses are always going outward, 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 and that's where our focus goes. And to bring it inward, we just start tapping on these different points of our body to get ourselves to kind of like drop in, to like have a seat in our own body and be aware of what's going on inward instead. And so I've done this a lot with like kids, and they go from like way up here, like crazy out of whack focus, to like, okay, I can listen now. So obviously we have more capabilities than children with being able to like refocus, but let's see how it works for you tonight. So just kind of get a sense of where you're at, like energetically, where your energy is being pulled to, and then we'll check in after we do the tapping. So the first one, you're gonna just use your like 2 fingers or whatever, doesn't really matter. And you're gonna start lightly tapping right between the eyebrows. And as you do this, you can just start to take some deeper breaths. Maybe close the eyes. Good. Then the next one, you're going to bring both hands, slightly tapping the cheekbones. It doesn't need to be hard, but just enough pressure that it kind of feels good and brings that awareness. A couple deep breaths here. Good. The next one is going to be on your chin. Take a couple deep inhales and exhales. See if you can start to arrive into your body. Take a seat. The next one, you're going to find your collarbones and that sternum. And right at the sternum, I like to like ball my fingers up a little bit. And it might sound a little bit loud or like whatever right on that bone. But just start tapping on that. And the tapping is sending vibrations through the body. And so just like when we are speaking or like chanting or singing, that's sending vibrations through our body and therefore letting ourselves be more in tune. Okay, the next one, you're gonna come like right under your armpits and a little bit forward between the ribs. This one can be a little bit tender, so if it's tender, back off a little bit. Good. Relax, take a couple of breaths. Check in with how you're feeling. Now, this is probably the first time that you've done the tapping, so you might be a little bit off as to like trying to be aware of what's happening. But if you feel more settled, then that's great. One more deep inhale in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. So we're going to come on to our backs. Before we do that, does anyone have any questions about the tapping? Okay. So we're going to come onto our backs, and you're going to use your strap, and hopefully your strap or belt or tie is long enough so that you can wrap it around your foot and hold on to it. And you're going to bring the strap up around the foot. The opposite leg can either be bent at the knee or straight out on the ground, or maybe you prop up a pillow or a blanket behind that leg. And we're just going to hold this here. And so if this is too much weight or too much strain on the back, you can just hug the knee in towards the chest and start to work on the mobility of the low back. Or have a slight bend to the knee, whatever feels the best. Taking a sense for how this hamstring feels, the back of the leg. We're going to start to open up this leg towards the outside. And so this one is difficult because I don't have that mobility of the hip to let it go all the way down to the ground. So I'm either going to prop up under my thigh, or I can bend the knee. And I'm still going to get this mobility in the hip as I let this leg fall out to the side. You have to play around with what feels the best for you. So you could probably let go of the strap if you're bending the leg and just hold on to the knee. So with these poses, we're just opening up the hips and we're holding the poses rather than finding movement in the poses right now. Good. Inhale, bring the knee or leg back in, and then we're gonna just drop it into a twist. So I like to tuck my foot behind my knee and open it up, or if you'd like, you can keep the leg straight and let it fall. If you want to get that hip and hamstring opening up. Good. Slowly bring it back in, back to center. And pause here. Comparing from the first side that you just did to the side that's yet to be done. And let's do the other side. Bringing that strap to the foot. You can have a slight bend to the knee, or let it fully extend, or even hug the knee in towards the chest. The opposite leg is in a rest, where you find the most comfort and ease. So where can you relax the body the most to fulfill this stretch of what's going on? start to open up the leg towards the side. You can bend the knee that's going out. Maybe just hold on to the knee. You start to feel, you could maybe bring it in and out a couple times just to find that sweet spot of where you'd like to hold the pose. Bring it back to center, and then either have the leg straight and open up, or tuck the foot behind the opposite knee and twist. And again, if it's too far to the floor, prop it up. Let yourself rest here. As you're in your twist, taking deep inhales and exhales so that you get your full breath. Coming back to the center on your back. And here you can hug the knees in towards your chest. And maybe rock side to side. And as you rock side to side, you can feel both hips, the low back, all the way up to the head on the floor. And then we're going to start to add some movement to the knees. So nice and slow, just start to bring your knees in a circle. And when you do this, you can feel all those different points of the hips, the end of the spine, the muscles of the back, and your core. So you're getting a slight core work here as you bring those knees around. Finding the spots that feel really nice, and then pinpointing those spots that might need a little extra attention. Let's take the knees in the opposite direction. And as you start to get to those points that need a little extra attention, just pause, go back and forth, tether between those points, and then continue on. And start to be curious about what's happening in the body. Good. Bring in your strap back. Let's wrap it around the ball of the right foot. So when I wrap it around the ball, I would just want it right in the middle of the foot. You're going to bring your left foot over the right knee, above the knee. So I'll walk through that again. I got it confused. So you're going to put the strap on your right foot. The left leg is going to cross over. And now you have the strap on top of the left leg. So as I'm here, I'm at this 90-degree angle of my right leg. And I'm flexing my left foot. So I'm pulling the toes towards my left knee. And here I can start to feel the stretch on my left outer leg. And it's also taken some core strength, so I might have told a little fib about just a little core work. So these poses we might hold a little bit longer. And as we're holding it, you can just be curious about the awareness that you're feeling in your body as well as your energy. Is it drifting off to somewhere else? Or are you able to focus on the now? Good, let's switch sides. Switching your strap to the left foot. Right foot is coming over the left leg. Bending your left leg to a 90-degree angle. Letting your support come from the hands and the arms to hold your legs up. If this is too much with the strap, you could always use like your wall or your couch and do the same thing. So I'm just going to rest my left foot on the door and then cross my right leg over. So now you don't have to use your hands at all. But same thing, flex your right foot, and as you flex this right foot that's crossed over towards your knee, you're protecting your knee and keeping those ligaments and tendons protected. And play with the angle of where your knee is. Is it coming towards your face too much, or can you start to maybe push, like, without using your hands, but just your muscles, start to push the knee slightly away from your face. Good. Slowly coming out of that. And we're going to make our way into a sitting pose. So you can either choose to sit on the floor if you'd like, or you can move up to a chair. Sometimes when I'm sitting on the floor, I like to just prop myself up a little bit. So if you have like a small pillow, you can sit on that, or a slightly folded blanket, you can have a seat on that. And that's just going to ease the tension on your low back as well as the hamstrings. And so as we come into a seated pose, let's send our legs out long in front of us. And back to our strap or belt. We're going to place the strap around both feet this time. You're going to flex the toes towards your face. And start to sit up nice and tall. So you're reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And as you do that, you can feel maybe the shoulders come into alignment. They're not a big arch, but just resting over the hips. And you're going to keep this alignment of the spine the whole time. So if this is as far as you go into your forward fold, that's awesome. Keep the integrity of the pose over what you feel like it should look like. Okay? And then, if you can keep the integrity of the spine, maybe you start to walk your hands down your strap. So this is as far as I am going to take the pose. I can start to feel myself rounding. If you want to take it forward or further in your forward fold at the hips, but want to keep the integrity of your spine, you can always bend the knees and start to fold. So now you're coming into more of a fold of the hips and not having your attention be on the hamstrings, which is totally fine. Just know what your goal is in a stretch or a pose. Slowly set up. You can undo the strap. So I'm going to stay seated on the floor just so you can all see me. But again, you can come to the chair if you need to. We're going to come into a little bit of an arm shoulder stretch. This one's called Gomukhasana. It's one of my favorite yoga terminology. So, but it's just a really simple pose that you've probably seen. I'm going to use my strap because I can't quite reach. I'll turn to the side so that you can see. You're going to reach your right arm up in the air, and you can hold your strap or your belt up and have it come down your back. Your left arm is going to reach behind, and then you're going to slowly start to inch the fingertips together. And as you do this, notice what position your head is in. Are you trying to reach so far that your head is curling forward? If so, straighten back up, loosen the grip, and let it be here. So if you're doing this, you shouldn't be in pain. If you're feeling too much pain in the shoulders, then back off a little bit. You can just simply tuck your arm behind, don't hold on to anything, and let yourself hang out here. I feel a stretch just by putting my hand on my low back. So if that is what you want to do, then that's great. Good. Let's bring the arms out to a T and then slowly rotate. Adjust the strap as you need. So this time, left arm is on top, the right arm is underneath. Again, keeping that integrity of the spine. How are you seated in your energetic body? Are you here and now? Or is the mind traveling off to different places? Good. Slowly let go. We're going to make our way to standing. Bring in your strap or your belt with you. So, we're going to use the strap as a support and wrap it around our legs. So depending on what you're using, you can generate your own little contraption. But as you put it around your legs, I want it to come above the knees. Yeah, somewhere on your thighs. That's comfortable for you. And make it nice and tight, but that your legs are going to stay hip distance apart. So I'll give you a moment to figure out a way that works best for you with all of your lovely home props. So make sure that it's tight, that you feel like you're being gently hugged by the strap, and that if you were to somehow fall apart like Mr. Potato Head, that the strap would hold you together. So as you're here, I want you to see if you can start to externally rotate the leg. So when you do that, it's like if you had headlights on your thighs, right where your strap is at, they're going to start to point slightly outward, and your feet are going to stay where they're at, but you're going to start to feel the glutes engage. So relax it. externally rotate. The feet stay where they're at. And as you do that, do you feel the pelvic floor engage? If so, that's great. If you don't have that awareness yet, that's okay. Relax it. Come back to standing. We'll do it one more time. So, headlights are straight where your strap is at, and you're going to start to externally rotate. So, like, this concept took a really long time for me to get, so if you're struggling with it, then let me know. But essentially, this externally rotated leg is going to turn on the glutes. It's going to turn on the belly. And then we're going to hold it here and start to come into a little baby squat. So when you're doing this with the strap, you can use that strap to hold you in as you externally rotate and not let the legs fall out. And then back up. Relax it. Relax the glutes. Relax the thighs. Let's do it again. Externally rotate. Engage the glutes. Come into a squat. So when I come into this like chair pose, I feel way more supported. A, with externally rotated legs, and B, with the strap. But eventually you want to be able to take the strap off. Stand up. So you can choose. You can try it with the strap again. Experiment with that. You can take the strap off and experiment without it. Or you can maybe go back and forth. I'll give you just a few minutes to try both. Try one more. Beautiful. Does anyone have any questions about that one? Okay. Let's come into just a standing pose. Tadasana. I'm throwing all the Sanskrit words at you. So this is Tadasana, mountain pose. And just take a second to sink back in. Do you feel like you are in your body? Or do you feel like parts of you are scattered throughout your community, your home, the workplace? And if you feel those places, or those pieces scattered, start to feel that suck back in. And have a seat in your body. With the feet, how they are, we're going to bring our awareness to the hips. So let's just come into a couple arch and flattens as we're here. Coming to the flatten first, we're going to start to tuck the tailbone. The hips are going to tilt backwards. Slight contraction of the belly. Back to neutral. Let's go the other way. Press the tailbone out. Feel the arch of the low back. Back to neutral. Back and forth a couple times until you find that neutral pelvis. Good. Once you feel like you found your neutral pelvis, I want you to hold that. Be aware of the pelvis bowl. And we're going to start to step back the right foot back and forth a couple times until you feel like you've found a spot that you can hold with your pelvis equal. So that might mean that your stance is really narrow, or maybe a little bit wider. So all 10 toes are pointing forward. The pelvis bowl is not spilling. The spine is strong. We're going to slightly bend this front left leg so that the knee just rests right over the ankle. So you don't want it out over the toes. You're going to hurt your knee. Just right over the ankle. Strong here. So you can either rest with the hands on the hips. You could bring the hands to heart center, goalpost, or all the way lifted. So this is warrior one. You're nice and strong in your warrior. You know when you need to go, but you also know when you need to rest and sit. Strong warriors here. We're going to do something a little fun. So stay with me. If you fall, just laugh. Try it again. We're going to bring our hands either to our heart center or to our hips, okay? Either one. Your left leg is going to be the strong leg. So start to have a little bit of weight shift back and forth between the 2 feet. And eventually you're going to come onto the balls of your right toe and come into a balance. So even I'm a little wobbly. So, can you lift this right foot from the back of you to a little balance? You can have it down here. You can lift the knee. But start to transfer the weight. Let's try it one more time. Good. Step the right foot down, meet the left, mountain pose. Aha! Beautiful. Okay. Let's do the other side. So, maybe you need to try a couple arch and flat ends again. Get the neutral pelvis. And then you can start stepping back this left foot, finding that sweet spot. And then a slight bend to the right knee, just so that the knee is over the ankle. And you want to find a 50-50 weight distribution between the right and the left foot. Good. Positioning your arms to where it feels comfortable. Hips, heart, cactus, are fully extended. Warrior one. So here in Warrior one, we're resting, but we're still strong. Our legs are strong, our core is strong. We have the integrity of the pose to rest and sit. But from here, we're going to start to get active. Know when to kick it into high gear. Transferring the weight, right foot, left foot comes up. Woo! And you can hold it, or you could go back and forth. playing with the balance a little bit. Good. Relax, shake it out. You did it. Good. Let's just do a couple of human standing X poses, just to shake it out a little bit. So reach the arms up, legs are out wide. Take the right elbow to meet the left hip. Coming up onto the ball of the right foot. Reach it back out. Left elbow, left hip, ball of the foot. Going back and forth between the two. Look up. Do any movement that feels really good in the body. Good. Maybe some twist. Or whatever other pose feels nice. Let's set ourselves up for legs up the wall, or legs up the chair. And tonight, let's use the strap so that we have one less thing that we have to hold in externally. So you're gonna bring your strap back in if you'd like, totally up to you. You can place the strap above the knees, and you can either come into your legs up the wall, making sure that this belt is nice and tight so that you have the support, or you can do legs on your chair, dropping the calves on your chair. We're just going to hang out here for probably a minute. You can remove the strap, hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe you take a circle with the knees. Doing any other final poses that you would like, maybe like a spinal twist, reclined butterfly. Maybe you need a drink or need to go to the bathroom. And then you can start setting yourself up for Shavasana whenever you are ready to do that. Close your eyes or turn off the lights. Starting to settle into your final resting pose. Tonight's meditation is going to be about your inner child. And so I think of this as like your innermost seat in your body, in your energetic body. Going back to who you are like as a child, like your real self. And so you can think of that, of this meditation like that, if that helps you. Be more in tune with who you are and who you are in this moment. So start to take a deep inhale in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Letting yourself sink and relax. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Let it all go. Last one. Coming into your natural breath. Just as relaxing as the deep breaths. And start to think of a time you felt very connected. Maybe in a meditation, or when a friend truly understood you. And remember that feeling. This is your wise woman. Take your wise woman to the most beautiful place possible. This person may look like you or not. It's different for everyone. Imagine that perfect place for you. Feel yourself in this place, completely connected to your higher self, and feeling the unconditional love that your wise woman has. From this place of pure consciousness, invite in that little girl. Pay attention to how that little girl feels and acts note of their age, clothes, temperament, and just notice how she's coming into this picture. Go up to this child and give her a hug if she's open to it. Give unconditional love to this child. Allow the embrace to deepen. This is what she has been asking for. And on some levels, this is what you have been asking for. Tell her what she wants to hear. Ask the child if you can ask her questions. Like, what do you like to do for fun? What makes you happy? And allow her to answer you. You may not hear her speaking like you hear me now, but you may see pictures or have a feeling. This is how she communicates. Ask her what she needs most of all right now. Ask her whatever you feel. Come to a moment of stillness with this child. Is there anything else she would like to tell you, or needs in particular from you? begin to give her a hug and tell her all of the things she longs to hear. Visit this child often. Have fun with her. Be playful. Do whatever you can to get her what she needs. And start to say your goodbye for now. Knowing that this little girl is you. That your inner child is your soul. Starting to come back to the space. Taking some deep inhales and exhales. Starting to transition, mapping your way from where you're at to a seated position, either on the floor or in a chair. Also knowing that all those things that this little girl was saying that she needs or wants or likes to do for fun are all those things that you need, want, or like to do for fun. So maybe this week you try to take one of those things and put it into action for yourself. As you start to come up to a seated position, we're going to end with one more round of tapping. Just to allow yourself to stay seated in your own self after the meditation and carrying on to the rest of your day, rest of your week, whatever you may think of it as. So bringing 2 fingers between the eyebrows, slightly tapping. Letting the breath guide you. Feeling yourself sink a little bit deeper into yourself. Moving to the cheekbones. Feeling that vibration go through the face and through the whole body as you tap. Coming down to the chin. The waves of awareness. Down to the sternum. I like to take some deep inhales and exhales as I go through the tapping. finally the ribs, between the two ribs, the bottom rib and the second to the last rib. Good, letting the hands relax. A couple more deep inhales and exhales like this. Knowing how you're going to go forward to transition into the rest of your night from here. As we bring the hands together to the heart center, Namaste just means that the light in me sees and honors the light in you. And so as we bring the hands together, I wish you love, light, and happiness. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you can feel a little bit more calm.